At Arizona State University, we've made online education better, smarter, and more personalized so you can go further in your aspiring field.
I decided to pursue medicine once I realized that ASU did have the online program for biological sciences. You're still required to learn the same curriculum. You're still being tested on the same content that anyone would be tested on in person. The comprehensiveness of the program prepared me so well for medical school.
Explore over 350 plus programs at asuonline.asu.edu. At Arizona State University, we're bringing world-class education from our globally acclaimed faculty to you. Earn your degree from the nation's most innovative university. Online. That's a degree better. Learn more at asuonline.asu.edu.
Welcome to Gardening with Ben, your go-to podcast for all things green and growing in 2025. Whether you're a seasoned gardener, a budding enthusiast, or just curious about cultivating your own slice of nature, you're in the right place. Join me, Ben, as we explore practical tips, inspiring stories, and the latest trends in gardening to make your outdoor space bloom with life. From allotment adventures to wildlife-friendly gardening, I'm here to help you grow your passion and reap the rewards. So grab your gloves, roll up your sleeves, and let's get started on this year's gardening journey. Hey everybody, and welcome to Gardening with Ben for your Wednesday episode of the week. So today's episode, we're going to talk about looking after those tomato plants and trying to keep them alive until September, October time, as there's obviously ways and means of encouraging them to keep growing and stay alive and keep fruiting as much as possible, because that's what you want. You want to get your money's worth from them plants, because they're not cheap to set up. Obviously all the compost and the feed, they're quite expensive to run. Obviously you get your money's worth if you get a decent crop off them, which is what you want. And obviously homegrown tomatoes taste a load better than shop bought ones. And obviously, as you know, I've been looking after my tomatoes quite a bit at the moment. I tend to give them a look after every single week. Every single week, I spend about 10 to 15 minutes on the plants, just sorting them out, tidying them up, and making sure they're looking the best possible as themselves. And if you do this on a weekly basis, you will keep on top of it, and it's easy to look after. And I mean, when you're looking after them, I mean tips like
Shop the Sherwin-Williams July Summer Sale and get 30% off paints and stains July 18th through the 28th. With prices starting at $34.29, it's the perfect time to transform your space with color. Whether you're looking to revamp your interior or exterior, we have you covered with bold hues, soothing neutrals, and everything in between. Visit your neighborhood Sherwin-Williams store or shop the sale online. Delivery available on qualifying orders. Click the banner to learn more. Retail sales only. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
I give them food once a week. I take off any shoots what are growing in between the leaves, called suckers. I also take off any lower leaves towards the bottom of the plant. I still keep some higher up, as obviously they do need some leaves on them, but I always take the lower leaf ones off that are growing, and any odd part of the tomato plants that are growing, sometimes they can grow a bit out everywhere and from the base, so take off any extra plants what are growing from it. And I pick off any ripe tomatoes, but I always leave a couple of red ones around, because obviously having the red ones there will help ripen the other ones, because when they start to go red, that's when all the others start to go red as well. So keeping some red ones on the plant helps produce the scent what it sends out and ripens the other ones off. Now, tips to help encourage the plants to stay fruiting all the way up to September, possibly October, is through the soil health and the nutrition. And this is through maintain steady feeding with balanced fertilizer, and then switch to a high potassium tomato booster from late summer, a bit like tomato feed. And I always give mine some chicken pellets or some fish blood and bone, and that will help feed them, because a lot of times during the big growth of the plant, it will have lost a lot of the food from the compost. So you have to fill in that food and keep the plants well fed. Some people often feed them about twice a week to once a week. So doing that really does help keep the plant less hungry than it actually is. So that's one little tip for you. Also, top dress with well rotted compost or seaweed extract every 3 to 4 weeks. Seaweed has been proven to be a fantastic thing for feeding plants with. I've never tried it myself, but if obviously you've got a beach nearby and can get some seaweed, why not give it a try and let me know how well you actually get on using seaweed. I know it can produce really good plants. So I can obviously say you can obviously buy the liquid form of seaweed extract, which you can obviously add as a food as well and feed them that way. So if you've got any seaweed lying around, have a try and let me know how you get on. Watering and mulching tips for tomatoes. Water deeply but infrequently to encourage strong roots. Aim to about 1 to 5 inches per week. So yeah, I tend to water mine every single day at the moment because they are heavy drinkers and the compost does dry out pretty fast in my polytunnel. It obviously depends where you're actually growing your tomatoes, whether you're growing them outside or inside. And obviously if you're growing them indoors, water them on a regular basis. Pruning and training. Remove the lower leaves and yellowing foliage to improve air circulation. Now, that's one thing I always keep an eye out for. I always keep an eye out for the yellow leaves. If the yellow leaves set in, take them off and remove them straight away. Again, pinch off any suckers that pop off in the side of the plant. And when you say the suckers, they look like a little tomato plant what's growing from the side of the tomato plant itself. So just pinch them off and either try growing them. You can actually root them by putting them in some water and they'll get some roots on them and plant them, or you can just chuck them away. But yeah, it's probably a bit too late to start more tomato plants off now. So any suckers that arrive, I'd just chuck them away, to be honest. Pests and diseases. Keep an eye out for pests and early signs of blight, aphids or hornworms. But keep an eye out and try and eradicate it as soon as you see it, if obviously you see blight growing on them. Touch wood, I never seem to have issues with blight on my tomatoes. If it's starting to get cooler, when it's starting to get to like September, October time, and you want to encourage them to keep warm, look after them by draping light horticultural fleece over the plants, and that will look after them and keep them warmer at night. So yeah, and harvest on a regular basis. Obviously, if there's a lot of red ones on them, take them all off, take them home and eat them. Obviously, when they're green and it's getting towards the end of the season, it's a struggle to get them to go ripen sometimes. Obviously, you can use banana skins, which will help ripen them, or there's other methods which I believe you can put them in brown paper bags, but I've never seen if that actually works or not. People will have to let me know if that does work. But yeah, that is the ways of keeping your tomato plants going for the rest of the year. And if you look after them, they will certainly look after you because they are good providers and you can get fantastic crops from them. And if they're struggling to produce tomatoes, if you've got lots of flowers on them and no tomatoes are appearing, pollinate them yourself or make sure that your greenhouse door's open so that the bees can come in and pollinate them. And when I say pollinate them yourself, it's a case of getting like a child's paintbrush, what they use for a paint set, and just touch each of the flowers to pollinate them yourselves and hopefully get lots more tomatoes growing. So that is our tips and advice on keeping your tomato plants going and producing as many tomatoes on the plant as possible. I hope that you found that useful. If you're new to this podcast, remember to drop us a follow and feel free to leave a review if you're listening on Spotify, as reviews will help boost the podcast. So until next time, everyone, remember, keep smiling, keep shining, and keep gardening with Ben, everyone. Thanks for tuning in to today's episode of Gardening with Ben. I hope you've enjoyed our chat and picked up some tips to help your garden and allotment thrive. Don't forget to stay connected with me on all social media for even more gardening inspiration, updates and behind the scenes content. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram and YouTube. Just search Gardening with Ben. Hit that follow button or subscribe button and join our growing community of garden lovers. Until next time everyone, remember, keep smiling, keep shining and keep gardening with Ben.